I wanted to get here. This takes time. This is the hardest, This is where the big mega bucks are. And Kim and I are here. And the money is massive. But it takes time to get there.
Every 60 seconds, another small business dies somewhere in the world. That's 1,440 dreams crushed every single day. And while you sit watching this video, 5 more entrepreneurs have just lost everything they've worked for. Robert Kiyosaki calls it the silent massacre. 95% of small businesses die within 5 years, taking with them life savings, relationships, and sometimes the will to ever try again. But what if I told you that this brutal failure rate isn't random? What if these businesses aren't failing because of bad luck, but because of a fatal pattern that you're probably following right now? Stay tuned as we reveal the harsh reality of most small business failures. The statistics don't lie, and they're more brutal than most people realize. According to the Small Business Administration, only about 50% of small businesses make it to their 5th year. But when you look deeper at profitability and sustainable growth, the numbers get even worse. Kiyosaki points out something rarely discussed. Even among the businesses that technically survive, many are simply staying afloat while their owners work 80-hour weeks for less money than they'd make as an employee. They've traded a job for something worse, a business that owns them instead of the other way around. But before we go further, let's be clear about something. This isn't just abstract business theory. When a business fails, real people get hurt. Families lose homes. Marriages crumble under financial stress. Employees lose livelihoods. The psychological toll can be devastating, with business failure ranking just behind the death of a loved one in terms of traumatic life events. So why is Kiyosaki so brutally honest about this reality? Because understanding the true causes of business failure is the first step to avoiding it. The question isn't whether small businesses fail. We know they do. The question is, why? According to Kiyosaki, the first killer of small businesses is something most entrepreneurs never suspect: their education. Our schools train employees, not entrepreneurs, Kiyosaki often says. And he's right. Think about it. What did school teach you about running a business? Probably nothing. Instead, you learn to follow directions, meet deadlines set by others, and work within systems designed by someone else. Consider this. Harvard Business School analyzed thousands of failed businesses and found something shocking. The higher the education level of the founder, the higher the failure rate in certain industries. Why? Because academic intelligence doesn't automatically translate to business intelligence. The trap works like this. Highly educated professionals, doctors, lawyers, engineers, often believe their technical expertise qualifies them to run a business. They think that being an excellent dentist means they'll excel at running a dental practice. But business requires an entirely different skill set. Kiyosaki puts it bluntly: a business doesn't fail, a business owner fails. The skills that make you a great practitioner of your craft are completely different from the skills that make you a successful business owner. This education trap manifests in 3 critical mistakes. 1. Technical fixation. Spending too much time working in the business, doing the technical work, rather than on the business, systems, growth, strategy. Employee mindset. Approaching problems like an employee would, doing the work yourself instead of building systems that work without you. 2. Risk aversion. Being trained to avoid mistakes rather than taking calculated risks and learning from failures. But if education isn't preparing us for business success, what should we be learning instead? One of Kiyosaki's most powerful concepts is the cash flow quadrant, a simple model that explains why some people work their entire lives while others build wealth through businesses. The 4 quadrants are E. Employee, trading time for money. S. Self-employed, owning a job. B. Business owner, owning a system. I. Investor, owning investments that generate cash flow. The brutal truth, according to Kiyosaki, is that 95% of failing businesses never make it out of the S quadrant. They're not really businesses, they're self-employment vehicles. And there's a world of difference between being self-employed and being a business owner. Self-employed people own a job. If they stop working, the money stops flowing. Business owners build systems that generate money whether they're present or not. Think about it this way. If you disappeared for 3 months, would your business continue to operate and generate profit? If the answer is no, you don't own a business, you own a job. McDonald's is Kiyosaki's classic example of a true B-quadrant business. Ray Kroc didn't create a better burger. He created a better system for delivering burgers consistently. The business works without him. The shift from S to B requires a fundamental mindset change. Instead of asking, "How can I do this work?" you must ask, "How can I create a system that does this work without me?" This is why so many professionals struggle when they start businesses. A brilliant doctor might open a private practice but still be stuck in the S quadrant, trading hours for dollars, just with more headaches and administrative burdens than when they were employed. The brutal truth. If your business can't run without you, it's not a business, it's a job. And jobs disguised as businesses have the highest failure rate of all. The second major cause of business failure, according to Kiyosaki, is a shocking lack of financial literacy among entrepreneurs. You can have the best product in the world, Kiyosaki says, but if you don't understand cash flow, your business will die. Here's the brutal reality. Most entrepreneurs start businesses without understanding even basic financial concepts. They confuse revenue with profit. They don't understand the difference between cash flow and income. They mistake assets for liabilities. In Kiyosaki's research, he found that over 80% of small business owners couldn't accurately read their own financial statements. They were effectively flying blind. The most devastating mistake? Misunderstanding cash flow timing. A business can be profitable on paper but still fail if it runs out of cash. This explains why some growing businesses collapse at what should be their moment of triumph. They expanded too quickly without the cash reserves to support that growth. Kiyosaki points to 3 critical financial literacy mistakes that kill businesses. 1. Revenue obsession. Focusing on top-line growth while ignoring profitability and cash flow. 2. Undercapitalization. Starting with too little cash and no buffer for inevitable setbacks and delays. 3. Financial statement blindness. Making decisions based on gut feeling rather than accurate financial data. The solution? Entrepreneurs must educate themselves on financial literacy before launching a business. Understanding cash flow, balance sheets, income statements, and key financial ratios isn't optional. It's survival. As Kiyosaki often says, accounting is the language of business. If you can't speak that language fluently, you're setting yourself up for failure before you even begin. The sales and marketing void. The third killer of small businesses is what Kiyosaki calls the expert's curse, the belief that a superior product or service will naturally attract customers. The brutal truth? The best businesses rarely have the best products. They have the best marketing. Kiyosaki points out that most entrepreneurs start businesses based on technical skills. They're good plumbers, programmers, chefs, or consultants. But running a successful business requires excellence in areas most founders have never studied: sales, marketing, and customer acquisition. The statistics are sobering. According to research from CB Insights, the single biggest reason businesses fail, cited by 42% of failed startups, is no market need, which often translates to "we couldn't find enough customers willing to pay for our solution." Many entrepreneurs view sales and marketing as somehow beneath them, a necessary evil rather than the lifeblood of their business. They believe that good work speaks for itself. It doesn't. This attitude reveals itself in three critical mistakes. 1. Product obsession. Spending months or years perfecting a product before getting market feedback. 2. Marketing avoidance. Underinvesting in customer acquisition because it feels like an expense rather than an investment. 3. Sales reluctance. Discomfort with selling leads to weak offers, poor conversion, and ultimately, business failure. Kiyosaki emphasizes that successful entrepreneurs reverse this pattern. They become students of marketing and sales first, then build products and services based on what the market actually wants. The businesses that survive understand a fundamental truth. A mediocre product with excellent marketing will outperform an excellent product with mediocre marketing every single time. The fourth reason small businesses fail, according to Kiyosaki, is a failure to build systems that can scale beyond the founder's personal capacity. The brutal truth is that most entrepreneurs don't build businesses, they build jobs for themselves. They become the most important person in their company, the bottleneck through which all decisions must pass. Michael Gerber, author of The E-Myth and a frequent collaborator with Kiyosaki, calls this working on your business instead of on your business. The result is predictable: burnout, stagnation, and eventually failure. The statistics tell the story. Businesses with documented systems and processes are 3x more likely to grow past the 5-year mark. Yet fewer than 30% of small businesses have such systems in place. Kiyosaki points to 3 critical system failures that kill businesses. 1. Founder dependence. When the business can't function without the founder's daily involvement. 2. Undocumented processes. When successful methods exist only in the heads of key individuals. 3. Reactive management. Constantly putting out fires instead of preventing them through systems. McDonald's again provides the perfect contrast. Their success isn't built on better hamburgers. It's built on a better system for consistently delivering hamburgers. A teenager can run a McDonald's shift because the system is the star, not the individual. This principle extends beyond operations to every aspect of the business: marketing systems, sales systems, hiring systems, financial systems. The businesses that survive past 5 years have transformed the founder's personal expertise into organizational capability through documented, repeatable systems. As Kiyosaki often says, a true business owner builds a business that works harder than they do. The final and perhaps most important factor in business failure is what Kiyosaki considers the root of all the others: entrepreneur mindset. The brutal truth is that your chances of business success have less to do with your idea, market, or funding than with how you think about business itself. Kiyosaki has spent decades studying the psychological differences between successful and unsuccessful entrepreneurs. His conclusion? The way they respond to challenges, view failure, and define success creates entirely different outcomes. The research backs this up. A study from the University of Pennsylvania found that grit, the combination of passion and perseverance, was a better predictor of entrepreneurial success than IQ, education, or family background. Kiyosaki points to 3 critical mindset failures that kill businesses. 1. Employee thinking. Making decisions to avoid short-term pain rather than create long-term gain. 2. Perfectionism. Waiting for perfect conditions instead of launching, learning, and adapting. 3. Comfort addiction. Unwillingness to endure the discomfort required for growth. But perhaps the most dangerous mindset problem is what Kiyosaki calls the lottery mentality, the belief that business success comes primarily from good luck rather than deliberate skill development. This mentality leads entrepreneurs to blame external factors for failure rather than taking responsibility for their own education and improvement. The entrepreneurs who build sustainable businesses view failure differently. They see setbacks as data, not defeat. They extract lessons from every mistake and use them to refine their approach. As Kiyosaki often says, successful entrepreneurs fail forward. They understand that the path to business success isn't a straight line, but a series of experiments, each building on the lessons of the last. The 95% failure rate of small businesses isn't inevitable. It's the predictable result of specific patterns that you now understand and can avoid. The businesses that survive and thrive past the 5-year mark aren't lucky. They're deliberate. They've made different choices based on different understandings of what business actually is. Kiyosaki's message isn't that entrepreneurship is hopeless. Quite the opposite. His brutal honesty aims to prepare entrepreneurs for the real challenges they'll face, not the fantasies sold by business gurus promising overnight success. The real question isn't whether you can beat the odds, it's whether you're willing to become the kind of entrepreneur who deserves to beat them. Will you commit to financial education beyond what schools teach? Will you master marketing and sales rather than just your technical craft? Will you build systems that work without you? And most importantly, will you develop the mindset that turns obstacles into opportunities? As Kiyosaki says, business failure isn't an event. It's a process that begins with how you think about business itself. The choice is yours. You can join the 95% who try entrepreneurship but fail to understand its true nature. Or you can join the 5% who build businesses that create not just profit, but freedom. What will you choose? If you found value in these brutal truths, hit the like button and subscribe for more wisdom that cuts through the noise. Drop a comment with your biggest takeaway, and let me know what business topic you want me to cover next. Until next time, remember, success leaves clues. Follow them.